Power Rangers in Space. I'm surprised I ranked it so high because I used to think it was really overrated. I still sort of do. Like, as you can tell, I don't really feel highly of that many of the Power Ranger seasons, which is pretty much the reaction of every Power Rangers fan. Yet we still keep watching. There's something horribly wrong with us. Anyway, why is it so highly ranked? One, no Justin. Two, it was the end of the Zordon era once Andros struck Zordon. Albeit, Zordon sort of sucked. He was sort of a crutch. It was better if the Rangers learned stuff by their own. He's basically a cosmetic thing that never bothered to explain what exactly he was in a time warp and all that bullshit. Like, there's sort of better off without Zordon, especially after the Judlin seasons. You can see like the writing was a little bit better. I thought he was a bit better than Zeo. Example of why it was a really bad season: Grandma Matchmaker completely screws the Andros Ashley dynamic. It also had a weird granny in it. Played Matchmaker, in case you can tell. Very good. Let's see what's next. Turbo. I picked Turbo very high. I don't think highly of many of the other seasons. And boy, there were a lot of other seasons. I don't think Justin wasn't as bad. Like, they played him off pretty smart, like making him smart and athletic. Unlike another season, which makes kids just dumb, not athletic, not martial arts like, and completely not like Power Rangers. Like, he's Billy, and he's a martial artist. Is it an improvement over Rocky? No. But Lid did a good job making up for his weaknesses after the Saban signed the contract with him. We have to say goodbye to Jason. TJ was a great Red Ranger and just Power Ranger in general. Carlos had some good episodes. The episode where he injured somebody in a soccer match was one of my favorite episodes of all time. Bulk and Skull have a great episode near the end of the season, which is very weird timing, but I don't know, it was interesting. You know, they play a good guy. Cassie has a whole Phantom Ranger thing, which is very interesting. I wonder how they would have played that off if they didn't get rid of the Rangers. I really have no idea how that would have been. There's some fan fiction for you guys there. I mean, something to speculate. The Phantom Ranger powers were really cool. The entire dynamic behind the Phantom Ranger was really good. And I don't get why everybody wants to figure out who the Phantom Ranger is when that would ruin the whole thing. You know, well, it's not like a Kubrick thing where there's multiple interpretations. Like, I mean, there are, but like, I doubt there were that many clues. But they actually do that season. I remember Cat season well. I'm not sure the Rangers was pretty good. I really fought scared that the Rangers were going to die in that season, those episodes. I don't remember if I thought that the Rangers were going to disappear, but I just felt really scared that they were going to die in those episodes. They really figured out how to seriousize the turbo powers by having them go really fast and be really like. There could have been this thing where they had made them go back in time or something, like the Flash did with cars and stuff, which would have been interesting. He's on the speed element, like they were basically like the Flash in that season, which was interesting. They graduated from Angel Grove High, making you wonder what was going to go on with them. Sort of sets that up in case they did get rid of the Rangers. The Shadow Rangers were interesting. I like General Havoc and his minions, which basically look like the Shadow Rangers. Like that could have been something interesting. The Shadow Rangers. Erutan. 15 years later, I still don't know what the heck that was about. But it was interesting, you know. Next one. Power Rangers season rank 9. Power Rangers Ninja Storm. I don't even like this season. There's other seasons I like better than this, but and I'll probably change this ranking like after Dinosaur is over, but like that's my life. They had a good idea, you know. campy, athletic teenagers, ninjas, which hasn't been done before since they completely skipped the ninja concept. Not quite, but a little bit. Like it wasn't. It was these ninjas were executed better than the Mighty Morphin season 3 stuff. Tori was a cool, athletic female warrior. Dustin was the comic relief. The Thunder Brothers were awesome. Shane, what a disappointment. By the way, regular. Interesting villains. I didn't really like the look of Lokar so far. You know what I mean? The villains were likable in an enjoyable way, which is interesting. It was very 2000-ish, so it really fit there. I liked Sergane as the Godar. The shark guy was pretty interesting too. I wish there was less Chubo. I wish they just completely wrote him out and he was just the monster of the week. I really don't know why they had him more. I don't think the Japanese footage was the reason for it. Power Rangers Season 10. Ranked number 10. Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. I like the season a lot. It has a lot of good Lin moments. The beginning where one of the Ranger... The whole planet dies even in a Ranger. It's very dark. Kendrick's death. The death in Power of Pink. Her replacement was pretty epic. Even though they didn't really do much with her character, regrettably. It was weird. I mean, the main problem with the season didn't work too well is that they had a lot of money to adapt, yet they didn't know how to integrate that with the Japanese footage. Maybe the Shark Brothers episode where they turned Trikino's interest were more interesting now. I'm more of an adult, but I don't know. It was very confusing when I was watching it in college. Leo was good, the whole Leo Kendricks thing. I completely forgot about Kai being the goody two shoes, but from what they did of him, it was pretty good. I thought that was interesting. When I rewatched it in college. The mechanic. Maya. She was basically a representative of a race, and that was something, They had to try and ship her with Leo, even though there's this whole Kendricks thing. There was a lot of shipping with Leo in that season, which was weird. I'm not sure how I thought about that, considering that, the main thing was him and Kendricks. And there's a lot of drama because of the Magna Defender, his brother. That was pretty memorable. I wonder if they plan on having the Psycho Rangers later on in the season, which would have been interesting. Kept the Astro Mega Ship, the Cap Alpha. Kept Bulk, because Skull went to get a PhD in real life. Professor. They didn't really use Bulk with the Professor, regrettably. They had some really dark moments. It just wasn't. And those ideas were executed well, unlike some seasons where they have great ideas. They don't execute them well, but the ideas are good. This one was a step above that with having good ideas, executing them well. But then the fuller episodes just really sort of dragged. Okay, ranked number 12, Power Rangers Jungle Fury. I really like the martial arts of the season. Unlike most people, I like that they got rid of the gloves, because, the gloves... I guess Kyo made cooler gloves, and that could have made a cooler tension device. But, I mean, the gloves were obviously fragile, but, they look cool, unlike the gloves in Gecky Ranger. Casey was a good Red Ranger, Red Rookie. I thought Lily should have been the leader of the team. I don't know if she was or not. But she basically was like Theo and Casey can get along, but they get along with her, so she should manage that. All the Pai Shuan masters are pretty cool. And Master Mao, who is from the Matrix, even though it was Matrix Revolutions. Jared and Camille were cool villains. I don't like how Daishi Jared not ended up being a bad guy in the end. But oh well. I mean, the main problem with the season is that, I don't know, the pizza thing worked, because like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle thing. But one, it wasn't dark enough. Like, it could have been a comedy series which would have worked. But something about that series, like, it just went on too fast. Like, there weren't enough episodes. And there was some adaptation game where they would just use Japanese footage for really no reason. It would be really forced. And then they wouldn't have, like, the stories from the Japanese footage. And instead make it a lot more lackluster. I mean, they didn't make. I really like Casey because he wasn't as dumb as I think Jan from Gekiou Ranger, the Red Ranger, Red Senshi, Daka Senshi. Like, they made him a rookie and they executed that story pretty well. I don't remember why exactly like, they didn't execute. I think it was just the villains, like Jared. They don't know what they want to do with Jared, which is a shame. Like, I would prefer them like to overcome Daishi in the end and become more powerful, etc. And really become evil. But I think Disney didn't want to allow that, which is a shame. On to the seasons I really didn't like. Season number 13, Power Rangers Dino Thunder. I mean, if I rewatch this, maybe I'll like it better, but like, this is a weird season. I just noticed. I think I skipped Power Rangers Mystic Force number 11. I'll go back to that. Power Rangers Mystic Force number 11. I like a lot of the ideas of this season. Like, the characters were really well written. Like, they were very distinct, really memorable. There were a lot of characters. Uh, After Dino Charge came out, I thought it was a lot better. But before that, let's see. What I think before. Well, obviously, I didn't think it was as good as Mad Ranger, and I still don't. Even though it might be different later. Before, I thought the whole Nick thing was a little bit forced. Like, I like the idea of Nick being this savior that can save them all. But I didn't like the Battleizer. I still don't like the Battleizer, I think. I really hated Lily. Like, I really didn't like her character. Even though she's written a little bit better than I thought on rewatching it, like, 10, 15 years later. I don't even know how old am I now. Probably 10 years older. I didn't like that they didn't go through with the Madison thing. It's been 10 years later and they didn't go through with Madison and Nick and they didn't bring him back. Same with SPD, like, they don't bring back Sky, even though he's like the best ranger of the Disney era outside of like RPM. I liked how the Rangers don't know martial arts. After like having like it made them unique. It's sort of weird with Nick and the boxing footage because they don't make him a boxer. They don't make Chip a boxer either. But they sort of play the footage off better than that. I was hoping they had more original footage, but it was pretty unique in itself. Some of the gimmicks were very interesting, like the 10 terrors made him cool. Magma made the first 10 terror seem a little bit worse than he was, which is interesting. Imperious, pretty villainous, not as villainous as, I don't know, they gave him a different form. They did a lot of interesting stuff with him. I mean, they had this whole mythology about, like, the mystics and stuff. I mean, I don't remember if I remember that last season, but, like, it's tough, like, I was really biased because I was really hoping it was going to be like a Mystic Knights of Toranaga homage or something. But and I wish I was better than Magic Ranger, which it isn't, unfortunately. But it's still. Well, this is before like when I ranked this like 2014, 15. I ranked it a bit lower. Still probably still deserves to be there. Like let's see that on a budget. I didn't do anything that stupid, even though I really dislike the Lily character. Like they were they did have shrinks with her actually, which I didn't notice before. Maybe I start rambling now, so I might as well go into the next season. Next. Power Rangers season ranked number 13. Unlucky 13. Which, oddly enough, I think is the turning point of the series and ranking system. Power Rangers Dino Thunder. A lot of people like this season because they thought it was an homage to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the Zordon era. I mean, I thought they did that a little bit better with Ninja Storm and like Dino Thunder. I just didn't think anything was that interesting. I mean, maybe it's because I was in college, but I just didn't find anything that hilarious. I didn't think Ethan was as good as a character as Billy was. Connor was unlikable, and it wasn't like a taxi driver unlikable. He was just annoying. Kiro sang like I think they totally didn't get the ironic thing they did with Kimberly, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Because Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like Kimberly was this master martial artist, gymnast, gardener, all this stuff. I don't think Kira really did any of that. She was a good singer. People liked her for that, and that's fine. But I don't know. Here's the thing: like sequels don't have to be exactly like the same thing. Maybe I was hoping too much for it to be like a nostalgia. Because here's the thing: if you're gonna do like a Dino Thunder thing and make it like have Tommy in it and stuff, if you're going to be some sort of nostalgia, or you figure to do some sort of thing where they actually write something about the mythos in it. But the most obvious thing, of course, is Tommy being a paleontologist, which like he's a martial artist. He's no. If you're gonna make a paleontologist out of anyone, make it like Billy or Trini, like a smart person in the group or something. I mean, if they were gonna use Tommy that season, they should have made him like a martial arts master or a Power Rangers veteran or something, which would have been cool. If they were trying to do it with Mega Force, I think. Ethan, I will admit, wasn't as annoying as like the Super Mega Force brain, where he wrote said so many things that were inaccurate. Like, I don't know, I just thought Ethan was a little bit monotonous, where like as Billy had all these arcs of overcoming things, like 20 episodes in like one season where you just overcome the odds and stuff, which is pretty cool and well played. Ethan, like I don't even never do martial arts. I didn't really get into his character. He's like, oh, it just feels very lazy. Like, oh, he's on this internet cafe. He likes. They don't even go to the. I guess it's because like Discovery Channel, Discovery Kids shows and stuff, but like they don't really get in depth, which isn't really in depth in Mighty Morphin anyway. Like the how the high school works and stuff. I don't know. Like, I didn't feel like how they did. I don't think it was a true homage to like Mighty Morphin, and that's I'm gonna leave it at that before you ramble too much. Let me see. Number 14, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3.5, including the second half of the second season. So the second half of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Oh boy. There's a lot of stuff that people don't remember that really sucked in this half. Jetting. Going to Christmas and seeing Santa Claus in a very cheap set. Tommy owning everybody, and then the other Rangers just all of a sudden didn't matter. Like, he was basically a common writer at that point. Just send him to Cybertron or something. Rocky wasn't as important as Jason. It wasn't like his rival, but, you know, it's good. Like, sequels, you have to do something different. character actually was so poorly written. I sort of can't blame her for leaving the show. Like she really had nothing to do in those seasons. She was on the radio. She did like Veterinarian and stuff, but like just to register with me. Like considering how interesting of a character Trini was, where she's a jack of all trades. She could beat up Jason. I don't know if Aish could beat up Adam or Rocky, even though like Tanya could beat up Adam at least. I don't remember, like I've never example something really bad. Oh, the Kid Rangers were really awful. Let's see if the Alien Rangers ranked. Yeah, this there. How they destroyed the command center was really awful. Like I complain about freaking Power Rangers in space and like, oh, Zordon died. Who gives a shit? But like, at least like they tried something hard there. Like the command center was like, I guess the could actually blow up the building or something. So that was really lame CGI. I mean, the end of Turbo was like freaking excellent. Like that looked like a really good ending to the series or season or whatever. That was pretty cool. But freaking lame. I mean, how they destroy the Thunderzords was lame too. Oh, Rita and Goro just go get them, and then they beat them, and then that made perfect sense. It wasn't like a million monsters, even though they had like, all the costumes or whatever. Just like some random monsters or whatever. Oh, and how they tried to write off the cast was really bad. Like it was really offensive. Like if they had done that like after Twee had died, like after I had found out, like when Twee died, like I would have been everybody would have been offended by that. It's probably why they write off characters a lot better now. Rocky just wants to have fun. Jason didn't want to have fun. This isn't a fun show. Stop having fun. I'm going to continue before it gets boring. Number 15, Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. I actually like the season more than most, but some of the stuff they did was just really awful. Like, first off, they really wrote the son and father dynamic really weirdly. Like, it was very like I don't understand. Like, did you never have children before? Like, not to mention like Mac was basically an adult at this time. Like, Andrew Harford basically never wanted his son to leave the house, even though he was probably an adult. It was very scary. And then later on, Mac was an android. I might as well spoil that to you now, because all life and reason and logic has been gone. I mean, what I did like about him is that he basically was like Akashi from Bokenger. Not done as well, but he wasn't an awful adaptation of him until like they added those elements to him. Ronnie Robinson was sort of useless. Samuel Benta didn't really do anything with Spy Thing. Dax Low, I just hate his name. Like, it's fine if you want to be an actor or something, but why is your name Dax? Like, that's the best name you can come up with. Like, it was very off putting, and I don't see like how do you name your characters? Like, it really made no sense to me. And he was sort of annoying. Like, everybody tried to be funny in the show. It was really not funny. There's a whole article on that where you should probably see about why it wasn't as bad as it was, but uh, it was like everybody complains about Neil Saban for not adapting things, but I have the opposite criticism of Operation Overdrive. Like, if you don't have anything better to adapt it with, then don't adapt it. Just a regurgitation, and then people will be like, I mean, something across hard to say. Sunday snobs, like maybe they'd be at this point anyway, but at least you won't have everybody being on your case, being like, "This is the worst thing ever." Like, let's make Mike an android. You know, that was really terrible. Okay, number 16, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Remastered. I thought it was comedic, and like it was. Actually, I don't think this is the worst thing ever, since like it's not the most serious franchise, and like I don't think they ruined moments so much. Well, Cream of Evil was freaking hilarious. Like, betrayed. betrayed. Like, there's some editors were really awful, and like it was sort of, and it wasn't even that much of an effort. Like, it wasn't like compoundly bad. It was just like they didn't try, and there was no budget and whatever. So who cares? I don't care. Anyway, number 17, Power Rangers Samurai. This is fucking terrible. Like, first off, they don't start with the first two episodes of the season, and then they adapt. Like, a lot of scenes are shot for shot exactly the same as Power Rangers as a Samurai Sentai Shinkenger, except they aren't done as well. Like, the acting isn't worked as well. And it might be because of Nickelodeon, like they have a 20 episode schedule, which you figured they would put more effort in the episodes, but no, they put less effort in the episodes. So like, I mean, they tried to. I don't know. Did they try to do? They had the Power Rangers theme song, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme song, but I don't know if they actually tried to do homage to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I think they did that show like Super Mega Force. His name is Jaden Shiba, but he's Caucasian. Is his parents Caucasian? Like, even if his parents were Japanese, or if he was adopted, I don't even care. Like, because like they didn't put any effort into that. And like sometimes he does put effort, but like, and he's a really cool guy on Twitter. Like, I've talked to him on Twitter, and he seems like a Buddhist philosopher and stuff. But like, there's such. It was very painful to work for that season, I would imagine. Even though like I went to Pasadena Comic Con, as you can see in the links, and Samurai Blue actually ended up having some good McDonald's commercials because of his reputation on a 20-year long show, which is pretty cool. Mia's cooking. Oh boy, was that me? That was pretty lame. Uh, it's weird. I'm probably just see. I don't know. I think it's because everything's so long and they're writing down that I sort of forget stuff. Because like, oh boy, 25, 30 years worth of information. 20 years. It's hard for me to remember everything. And quite honestly, I don't want to remember Samurai that well. Like, I don't have a lot of enthusiasm for it. That cooking thing really drove me nuts. Power Rangers Super Samurai, I didn't even care at this point. Like, at this point, like, all the freaking stupid fans caring about the shark toys and, like, whatever, I didn't care. It was probably a bad reason for. I should probably watch the season to see if it was actually demanded for it, but we'll see. Number 19, Power Rangers Mega Force. I like the dream they put in. I like the Robo Knight stuff. It actually wasn't as bad as I recall. I don't know, it was really bad. We had that Cheers line. It was very Captain Kirkish. Like, people like Captain Kirk, well, they don't like the Samurai or Mega Force acting, which is very interesting. Like, you have a Gorn there, but like, that would probably be like my Gorn portrait that I get from like that gets posted in like a Power Rangers 50-year anniversary thing, like they did for Star Trek 50th anniversary. Like, I don't know. I don't think I've posted it on the YouTube. But like, there's this very epic photo of like the Gorn fighting Kirk at this museum that was outside San Diego Comic Con, celebrating Star Trek for the 50 years. It's pretty epic and ironic. It's very Andy Warhol-ish. And I figured they should do that with Samurai and Megaforce also. Like, Pencil being a suitcase would be an interesting portrait. Uh, all of Noah's inaccurate dreams, even though probably some really dumb people are going to think that all the stuff that Noah said in the show is accurate. I fear for my life. What can I say about that? I fear for the livelihood of everyone in the world. I did like the Robo Knight stuff. I thought the Robo Knight was an interesting character. I think everything they did with him. Power Rangers Super Mega Force. This was a really shitty season. Like, first off, it shouldn't have been one season. Like, you have one of the best. I mean, I understand that you can't use like half the suits, but you did it anyway, so you might as well have kept it as like a 40-episode season or longer, considering how popular it was in Japan and the whole world. So you ruined that season by having footage of suits and actually owning the suits and bringing them to America and costing money for that. I mean, I don't know how many Ranger keys you sold. And I don't think you sold the Japanese suit exclusives in America. So what was the point of that? So anyway, it's not canon anyway. Like, it's probably retconned out. So you did all that. Orion should have been a Phantom Ranger, and he basically was. And then you shoved him in a locker. You made Tenso a suitcase, and then nobody see him. Even though there's no reason for that, and I went a whole rant on that recently anyway, so you can do that. Noah's a badass in this season, and they don't play her off as a surprise. Because everyone knows it's basically because of the Super Sentai footage. There's the whole episode where they purposely put in, and this is a short season, mind you, so they use the Ghost Sager footage after they pretend they lost the powers. I don't know, maybe if we watched it, it would be played off as a bit better, but there's a lot of shortcuts in the season. And they promoted it terrible, like, and the scripts, and it was awful. Like, they ripped off a scene from Amazing Spider-Man 1 for Tommy's reappearance. The legendary battle in the end was not that legendary, because, like, all they did was re-edit. I mean, it was probably alright, but, like, you know, the hype for a season with such a long prestige as Power Rangers and Super Sentai, you figured there would be something bigger, but there wasn't. I don't know, maybe looking back at it, it'll probably be... no, Tenso in a suitcase, Lightning, no thank you. That was fucking shitty. Worst possible season of Power Rangers ever. Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. So this is the sequel of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is all about martial arts and teenagers with attitudes. You have little kids doing Three Stooges routines. Can't do martial arts. People hated Justin, but I really hated this season. I ranted about it like for a long time, for 5 years, and everyone hated it because they don't actually remember watching that season because they're a bunch of idiots. Because that was a really bad 10 episodes. It should have been actually about the Alien Rangers, but instead it was about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Thank goodness Zero came around, because that was a really terrible thing. I won't keep you guys bored, because I know I'm ranting a lot. But those are my 21 ranked seasons of Power Rangers, Saban, and Disney. Hope you enjoyed.